Okay, my first school is, of course, Downey, but I don't remember the name of it. Just 2 grades, first and second. And then we went to Bend, and I started second again. And then it was in Allen's Elementary School on 3rd Street. And we had about maybe 5 blocks to walk. Only 15, 20 minutes, but that's how we got to school every day. I can remember a 2nd grade teacher, no, 3rd grade teacher, teaching me how to speak Spanish a little bit. And it was such a long distance between speaking it again, I couldn't remember, but that was sure a lot of fun. Found out a few years later that she joined the church too, so it was pretty good. This is Pinkerton. And yeah, I would just as soon not remember any of the rest of that elementary school. We got in trouble one time, Barry and I can't begin to tell you what it was about. Fact is, I don't think we even did anything wrong. But they pulled us both into the principal's office, and we just went, he did it. We didn't know who did it. And they didn't either, so they couldn't punish us. I think they couldn't tell the detail. I can't even remember what it was about. But yeah, we didn't get punished for it. Then the next school is called Pilot Butte Junior High. It was just 2 years, 7th and 8th. Tried to go play basketball that year, and it was a major disaster. They found out how just unathletic I really was. Well, both of us, of course, not just me. We liked choir. We did pretty good in choir. And I liked earth science. It wasn't called geology or anything like that. It mixed up all the different earth sciences like paleontology and geology, meteorology. Yeah. And the teacher eventually, I think probably in my second test, he says, you do pretty good up to the time you run out of time. And so I got permission to say that, hey, just come in the next afternoon and finish the test. It'll be all right, because I'm not an English teacher. I'm a science teacher, so from then on I had A's.
Yeah, if only somebody would have done that for me.
It was a lot of fun to get A's, of course.
Yeah.
What a good teacher.
No, I really understood everything he had to say, and I did read my assignments as best I could. Pay attention. I remember PE wasn't a good day either, because I wasn't athletic. The coach, whatever it was, he got a big hard paddle, drilled holes in it so it'd work better. Thank goodness I never got it. Boy. And what else was there? English. I had 2 English classes. One to help me read better. Didn't do a bit of good. Not a bit of good.
Now they know it's called dyslexia.
I don't know what it's called. Yeah, I don't see all my alphabet the way it's supposed to be, the way it is printed. I don't know. Carrie has the same problem.
It's called dyslexia.
Whatever.
High school?
High school wasn't much better, but it was better.
You have
Choir was a good class because our district president was the choir director. Yeah.
the church.
And my biology teacher was also a member of the church, and I enjoyed his classes very much. Dr. Cook taught algebra, the later math classes, and I enjoyed her, so I did pretty good in the math. Geology, or not geology, but American history. I think, American history. I did very good there too.
Would you say that you enjoyed school quite a bit? Or you enjoyed teachers and therefore you got good grades in?
Yeah, I think it would rather be the other way around. The teacher that had the method closest to the way I could learn.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that would be definitely true. I cannot say I enjoyed high school, no. Barry and I both went out for track, and Coach Pitcher would say that you guys, I'll call you Wizard White, because you're the slowest one on the team. I think he should have said that we started at the middle. Barry and I would be the last to get to the other, the starting place the soonest. I led 3 of the 4 laps. I got to the last 220. Somebody pulled the plug on me because I was running as hard as I could, and I was leaning back, ready to fall backwards. I did finish though. We got a job through Richard and Dad at the golf course, and we both really enjoyed it. And what did you call him? Greenskeeper. He enjoyed our work too, so everything was really good. So I went.
CLCC.
Yes. Central Oregon Community College. But did I go? No, I did not go before my mission. I did it afterward. Just 2 terms.
I was in the tummy.
Yeah.
Pregnant with your first. Or at least your wife was.
I think I was too.
Okay, first school I went to was Marara Primary School. My favorite subject was math. Then I went to Northland College, which is a high school. I went there for 3 years. My favorite subjects there were nothing.
Boys, and boys.
Yeah. No, I was put into the top English class, but I was at the bottom of the top English class, and I was just swimming. Math, I went into the top math class because I did like, basic multiplication, adding, and subtraction. I'd never done, what's that other? Algebra. I'd never done that, and I understood the beginning, but after that I got lost.
Dr. Cook with me and stuff.
Yeah, and science, I just hated science. That was a totally new language, and I had to get familiar with Bunsen burners and
Chemistry.
anyway, this new language, and so I didn't really enjoy that. I did enjoy playing tennis and softball, or we called it baseball, but it was really softball. And then I went to Church College of New Zealand, and what did I like there?
Boys.
Nothing.
Boys.
You like being away from home.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I loved it at first, but they had so many rules. The only rule that they didn't have was to wear a uniform in pajamas.
You didn't have to wear pajamas. I mean,
Pajama uniform.
pajama uniform.
Pajama uniform.
Wear anything you wanted, huh?
That was the only time we were not in uniform.
New Zealand.
Did you play any sports at Church College, Bill?
Tennis.
A little bit of tennis, and I did play baseball. And I was one of the better hitters, but
You definitely out-hit me.
I was just kind of lost. And yes, I'd look at all the boys, but they didn't look at me. I wasn't cute like little Margie.
Probably what I'm dating you.
No, I didn't have any boyfriends there, and
She did too. She's told me about
no, I didn't have any boyfriends. Not while I was at Church College.
It's just at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it. No.
Because there was rules that you weren't supposed to have
I-
boyfriends.
I hear about all those boys you do.
Oh.
Yes.
Arthur Selwyn.
I'm the one that hears about all your girlfriends.
Arthur
How about
Selwyn.
Victor?
Yes, and Victor. That's right. Arthur Selwyn
Orange.
and
Victor
Victor.
who?
Ormsby? Something like one.
Oh, but it's Victory.
Victory. Oh, Victory.
We were just friends.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
All we did
He
was
happened to be a-
hold hands.
He was a boy, right? Oh, he got
All
the
we
whole
did
hand.
was
Yeah, right.
All we did was hold hands. Maybe once
So
or
you were an
twice.
apprentice.
Okay, who was your favorite dancing partner at church college?
I didn't have one.
Oh, me.
Arthur Selwyn.
See?
5 seconds later.
And then I just went home and got a job. I just worked
Because you were on a mission.
until I was 19, and then I got engaged. But he was a dodo, so
Not me.
He was a what?
She wasn't referring to me
he was a dodo.
when she engaged to.
A black boy that Nana didn't
I know
like.
what a dodo is. I just wanted it on the camera. I'm gonna revive that word.
And yeah, he was a member of the church. I mean, very, very, very sharp, very clever, too clever.
No, you were clever than he
And
was.
then when I turned 21, he just took the ring off my finger.
You were engaged for 2 years?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you serve? You served your mission at what age?
22 I went.
Yeah,
So,
seems like a dodo.
yeah.
This one other event, because I really love it. I always remember it. But Barry and I were 14. We had 3 or 4 guys that were pretty friendly with us. One was just a block over. His name, Doug. Can't remember Doug's last name. He was not a member of the church. Richard Candlin, his dad eventually moved just a block away from us. Richard, they actually at that time lived quite a little ways away. So we didn't chum a lot, but they're members of the church, good members. And then we had Leroy and Larry who had lived on the opposite side of town. Barry and I would just walk across town to goof around with them. And so one year, Mom decided that she'd take us camping. And we asked her if these guys coming along. She said, yeah. So it was just Barry and I and 4 other boys. Is that 4? Yeah, it's 4. It was 6 boys, age 14, and Mom. We went up to Green Lakes. And then cooked and swam, walked around a bit. We spent almost an entire week at it. Dad came the last day and brought some steak. But we ate frog legs. We go looking for frogs and eat frog legs, and we ate a rock chuck once in that same time. That was
What's a rock
it was
chuck?
a lot of fun. A groundhog,
Oh,
more or
yeah.
less.
Oh.
And yeah, Mom loved to swim. We loved to swim. One time, Mom took off in the middle of the night, about midnight, and went swimming with nothing on.
Skinny dipping.
Nothing on at all. Okay, and then she come back, and she was dressed again, and she said, okay, it's your turn. So we all went too. Yeah, that's cool. Pretty good at what I was doing. I took them out of the car, the seats out of the car. Now, he, of course, had to show me how, but I got to do that after a while. But I didn't do any sewing at all.
This is Grandpa Vern, right?
Very wise man, my daddy.
So you got to pull stuff out and kind of be the
Yeah.
shop hand, but
Yeah.
You're
The
forced
year
to
that Mom and Dad were married, that my mom and I were married, that I worked for the Forest Service. And it was a lot of fun. I had 3 different jobs. One was a reforestation survey, where the aerial drop seeds on a plane. And they wanted to see how many of the plants took. And so we plotted that out. And we also had a mistletoe survey, where the mistletoe was damaging the trees. They wanted to know how heavily they had to cut them out or down completely. So we did that. We just took a transit, went that way as far as, I don't know how far we went, but it was quite a ways. Made a right turn and another right turn and came back. So down the fort, just like that, just back and forth. Had a young first year college kid with me. And we liked that a lot. We went and fought a fire one day after we were done working. Fought all night long in our truck. We had a water truck as transportation. So when we got back to base and found out there was a fire, we just said, "Where is it?" They said, "That would back up the road and you can take the fire truck and they'll show you what to do with it." So we sprayed the old stumps or whatever, you know, the snags, all night long. And then I had a, what do we want to call that? The lumber companies that came out to cut the trees down for the lumber mills. They're in charge of putting in new roads and taking care of them. They had to put a washout ditch in on each road a certain way, and that's what we were supposed to do, just go through and check to see that they did that. So it's just driving around. And then we did a road, we're looking for porcupines or something. And we did that for a few months. And the summer was about spent. And so they asked me to work in town in the mill. And I was supposed to agree with their, what do we call it? The guy that measured the log anyways as they went in. Okay, I would measure it right behind him so we could verify what timber they were getting from the Forest Service. That wasn't all that much fun, but
nonetheless.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
She's a telephone operator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I was a telephone operator, and yeah, I was pretty friendly with everybody. Of course, you know, they had parties, and we never ever went to the parties because they smoked and drank. But
tell us what phone operating consisted of, because nowadays,
Is that
for our
what they
younger
used to
generation,
do the plug-ins?
it's a big board, and you have all these holes, and they represent a number, and you have these plugs in front of you, and when a light shows up under these holes, you just pick up the plug and you plug it in and you say, "Number, please."
oh, you got that down, Nana.
Yeah, really hard job.
I know.
She could probably
And
just say who they wanted to call and she'd know.
Yes, they'd tell us a number, and you know, you just find the number and just plug it in and push the lever to say, you know, to ring, to make a ring on that number. And sometimes, but you had to know the Morse code also. You know, if it's 666W, you know, that's a da 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 da. And or if it's a 777S, and S is just 3 da da da. You know, so you have to know the Morse code, and then when they ask for long distance, you plugged it into the long distance hole, and the girls that are doing long distance, they would pick that light up, and if I was there, I would just say tolls here, in other words, long distance is here, and they would give the number that they wanted and the city, and every city has an abbreviation, like Kaikohe would be KH, and then you write that down, and you write the number where they want and the city that what they want, and then you call and you just say, "Just hold the line, please. We'll be back in a moment." And once they're connected, you could say, "Go ahead now, you're connected." When I went on my mission, I got home on Friday, and on Monday I was at work.
Mm.
So, you know, I didn't have any, I didn't have to stress and find a job after a mission.
What do you need?
It was just all there, right at my fingertips.
Plenty of work to do, huh?
Yeah.
Remind me again about your education. Any friends that you feel like you were especially connected to?
My education.
Tell them about Moana.
Oh, yes. Moana,
She's not really French, she was a teacher, but
the lady that I named her after,
Yeah, I was
she
saying that.
was 1956 Miss New Zealand. I think it was 56. Yeah, it was 1956 Miss New Zealand. She was beautiful. I mean, physically and inside as well. Yeah, and she always encouraged me to get an education. She said education, you know, is something that will go with you forever. And if you're educated, you'd be able to do anything that you really need to do if you wanted to. And so
how did you meet her?
that's how I met her.
No, you didn't.
I mean, I came home from church college and I was trying to find a job. I hadn't quite been, yes, I had been hired by the post office, but not to be on the exchange or telephone exchange, but to be at the counter. But I hadn't started, and they came and Maui, her husband, who was the headmaster of this primary school out in Otaua, came to our house and asked my parents if I'd be interested, and they said, well, she's interviewing for a job. Anyway, I came home and they offered the job to me.
Teacher's aide.
Yeah, to be a teacher's aide.
Hmm.
And that's how I met Moana.
So you were Moana's teacher's aide.
Yeah. And Moana Whanga.
What was the impact that she had on you? I know she told you that education would take you far in life, but why specifically did you name Mom after her?
Well, they went to BYU Hawaii after that, and
I didn't know she was a member.
yeah, oh yeah, she's a member and a very, very good member. She was in the primary district or stake in Kaikoura, but
Mistake.
anyway, they went to Hawaii, and her husband died while they were there, and so she was a single mom, and she still had her 4 kids to raise. And you know, she came back to New Zealand, and she got herself a job, and took care of her children, raised them to adults, and right now there's only one that's active in church, and that's her oldest one, and she lives in Australia. But I met her at the reunion in Hawaii when I went in 2019. And she has passed, but not until she had a good living, and she paid off all her mortgages and took care of her family. My strongest strength is knowing that God lives.
Absolutely.
Your turn.
I don't know. Well, as I mentioned to her yesterday, it's my ability to analyze something, and especially, the gospel was the first one I analyzed, so, that's fixed anyway.
Okay, I was sick a lot as a child, and I guess the greatest illness I had was sinuses. My parents did not know about sinuses, and so I just depended on my dad coming home and giving me a blessing. I had blessing after blessing after blessing. I didn't really know that it was sinuses until I came to America. And one day, I had this same pain and, pain around in your eyes and on your nose and then back to your ears. And I went to the doctor and he says, "Oh, you just have sinus problems." And he just gave me Actifed. That was the drug. And that's what I do every time I get it, but I don't get it at all. And that's my medical problem.
I don't have any problem. Yeah. I'm nearsighted. And that caused some problems. I didn't know I was nearsighted until the 8th grade. And so, yeah, I didn't learn how to read very well because I couldn't ever see the board in class. That was a major problem. But we got glasses. So in the 9th grade we started picking up a few more things. But we were both, Barry and I both were behind. Major time.
But that would have helped you if you had glasses.
Yeah. It would solve the problem, quite honestly.
Yeah. Giving you more confidence. Okay.
But other than that, no broken bones, no sicknesses. Oh, I did have pneumonia when I was, what grade would that be in? 8th grade, yeah, because I can remember that because I didn't have to sit the final tests because I had pneumonia, didn't go to school. Really good. But Barry got to go swimming and I didn't get to go.
You still remember that? That's awesome.
Yeah, I did kind of contact and said, wait a minute, why did I? Oh, that's right.
I remember that.
I had 2 sicknesses that year. I can't remember what the other one. I think it was an infection in the back of my throat. It was not just a sore throat. They lanced it. That was painful. But other than that,
What about your heart? Did it show up at all?
no.
What
It
was wrong?
didn't come until much later.
Oh, learning to speak English, that was a real challenge. I didn't like it at all. I was allowed to speak English at school, not allowed to speak Maori. At home, we had to speak Maori, no English. And that was a real challenge. And it was painful, mentally and even physically, because, at home we were yelled at and told, stop pretending you're Pākehā, and in other words, we were being snobbish, and then at school we were being native if we spoke Maori, so that was a real challenge. Being a diabetic, that's really, I think I was probably I had the onset diabetes when you're pregnant, because I just was really big. And then I had big babies, not really that huge, but my biggest was 10'9".
And who was that?
Nick.
And that was Nick. Yeah. After 40, I was a diabetic, and I didn't, before that, I did enough exercising to keep it at bay, and I could eat whatever I wanted, but after 40, it was a bit, I didn't exercise as much, and the diabetes came on, and I've been on insulin since I was 45.
Gotcha.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is.
And that's all I've had. Of course I had a quadruple.
But yeah, no big deal. Just a quadruple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on a mission.
Oh, was it?
Yes, and it happened on a mission. I was on my mission in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know that.
Pretty much at the end of it, but
Yeah, like it was June 25th, 2013.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I just thought, oh, I'm not going to go home. I'm just not going to go home.
and the president said, "Fine, no problem."
Yeah, and the president came to see me, and the first thing I said to him, I'm not going home.
He came to the hospital room.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And he said, that's okay. I just came to let you know that you can do whatever you want.
Oh
You
good.
can stay or you can go. And I said,
Ain't going.
I'm not, and I got out of the hospital, Tuesday, and and Mona came and took care of me for a week, and in 2.5 weeks I was up, and we were going,
Proselyting again.
yeah.
Wow. Why did you need that bypass? Was the heart?
Because I wanted to have the banana where they the banana pipe bypass where they
Stomach bites.
staple your stomach
Oh, okay.
and make it small like a banana. They call it a banana operation. And so I had to go through all these tests, psychologically, physically, and emotionally, everything. And I passed everything except
good.
the heart. The doctor says, oh, he says, do you have any pain? I said, no, I don't have any pain. I don't have any, not on my arm. And, he just asked me all these questions, got me on the treadmill, had me, and just nothing really showed. And he said, yes, but I'm not really
I'm not gonna let you go
convinced.
home.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. He says, one more test. And so that was the one that they insert through your groin.
Oh, to test the heart.
And I guess, and once that was done, it took only about 10 minutes.
Really?
And he came in and he says, the test was beautiful. He says, I'm just going to go upstairs and get the surgeon and we'll be back and we'll talk about surgery. Ah! Yeah, and he didn't even say what kind of surgery. And so Dr. Smith came down, he was a surgeon, and said, well, when do you think we can do that? And he said, well, tomorrow morning. So I didn't go home. And suddenly, they were prepping me for, well, they let me stay the night, and in the morning they prepped me early so that I could, and the surgery started at 4 and I got out at about noon. I said, is it going to be orthoscopic? He said, no way. They're just going to get the saw and saw
We have a chainsaw right here. We're ready.
He says, no way. He said, they're going to get the saw and just cut you open. I said, what? He said, yes, right there,
And then open the rib cage.
Yeah, and that's what he said. And of course, I didn't believe him, but he said, and then after he told me that, he started laughing and he says, yes, they do cut you open. But he said it not like the way I said. He said, they're very, very good. And he said, I have had one too. But, so, and I had one was 90% blocked. I don't know. I mean, I had some blocks. One was 90%, one was 80, another was 70, and then one was 50. And he said, we might as well do the 50 as well.
Wow.
Five.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Quadruple, that means 4.
And I really believe that it's it's extended my life. Yeah, you know, and we came home from our mission. 6 months later, we were off to the Philippines.
Had a motorcycle. First time I'd ever had one. And I was returning from lunch at home. At lunch, it was only like about 10-minute drive. And, but it had snowed recently, so it was a little slick. I was being very careful, but I made 2 90-degree turns, and the second one I didn't make. I flew over the top of the bike, caught my knee on the handlebar, and tore my ligament up. Went to work anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Stood on that knee for 4 more hours. And when I got to the car, a friend was gonna take me home because I got her to take me there. And yeah, I couldn't even get in his truck. Couldn't bend my knee. We got home, and I said, well, if it doesn't start, you know, stop swelling.
He took you to the hospital just to check it out.
Basically, in a couple hours, 3 hours maybe. I think it was about 3 hours. Then we said, okay, we better get to the hospital and see what's going on. And they kept me too.
Yeah, and you stayed.
So it was a interior cruciate. This one right here.
But it was a great summer.
Yeah,
He
totally
had-
enjoyed it. Totally
He
enjoyed
had
it.
cast, and he was able, after a week or so, he could get it wet. And
That was stupid.
so he took all the kids swimming and for the whole summer.
Whoa.
In a wet cast,
Oh
that
my
was not smart.
Yeah, but
In New Zealand, that I had a AFib, but we didn't do anything about it. They gave me a pill, let me sit there for a couple hours, sent me home.
Mm.
So that's about it. I've had to go into the hospital 3 times, I think. There's been a long time between each one.
it was super important in my childhood. We always went to church. We always had morning and evening prayer. We always blessed the food. And we always, we always went to church. Whether we had to walk, ride horseback, or in the car, in the truck, we all went to church.
It was a priority.
Yeah, it was a definite priority. And, my dad was branch president. He was never a bishop, but he was branch president for many years, 18 altogether at different times.
Mm.
And it's been very important to us, and to me it is. I don't know what I'd do without the gospel. It's my rock. And I have a testimony of it. I know that it's true, and I believe and know that Christ is our Savior, and He loves us, and so does His Father. Amen.
Amen.
And I've got the same feelings about church, obviously, but I was not raised per se with a strong gospel upbringing, except for the fact that my mom and dad both insisted we go to church.
Mm.
Okay? I can remember having the elders over and teaching me about the gospel and being baptized. Very small baptism. Sisters taught Barry and I, and Brother Patterson baptized us. And then, next thing I can remember is coming to Oregon. So, and we went to church most Sundays. Dad never went. Well, no, I can't even say that. No. Dad said every time he went into church it was going to fall down, but it never did. So, he went several times. He even talked at my farewell, so it was okay. I think my dad, both dad and mom have a very Christian outlook on life, really. But going to church was not part of it. Didn't have prayer, except at the table. And that, not all the time there, but most of the time. No family home evening to speak of. No. Sometimes Dad would read to us, and it would be Tom Sawyer or something like that, but not the Bible. But Barry and I both enjoyed the church a lot. One time, Mom and Dad told Richard that, all right, we give up. We'll just have you just promise me that you'll go to one meeting a week. One meeting. And I never heard anything about that again. Once he got into university, then he started having some friends at church and started going to church. We both went to seminary, early morning seminary, and walked 6 blocks to the chapel to have seminary. And ever since then, I think we both started thinking very seriously about the gospel and trying to be a good example. And yeah, knowing that when we graduated, that's the next thing we needed to do is go on a mission. So saved our money up that summer. Didn't get it all. Got enough. Dad paid the rest of it. He paid for 3 missionaries at one time, so that's doing pretty good. Yeah, and a blessing ever since. So that was good to be. Hate food. Yeah, that's why I'm so round. My dad. I get to say it first. You can think what you get. Dad would always fix his tacos quite often. And then what else? We have oyster stew on Christmas Eve. And I think that's the only 2 I can remember. Mom was good at spaghetti, but it's all right. Dad did something else too. Dad loved to cook. He was a cook in the army, and that's where Mom and Dad met, was at a restaurant where Mom worked alongside him, sort of. So yeah, he loved to cook. I think Mom did too, so it was fun in the kitchen. And what else for food? Yeah. We've got a good tradition for trifle on Christmas Day that you brought home.
Love
But
it.
we don't do it anymore because
Yeah, can't. Diabetes.
Diabetes, yeah.
well,
All that sugar, please.
And no food allergies?
No, I don't have any allergies except work.
I did have I got hives once when I had apples, and they are apples that have been stored.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, at the Church College of New Zealand, our supper at night was a piece of fruit, and they had these apples, and I liked apples, and so I ate them, but I just came out with all these hives all over my body. And so they have a nurse up there, and I went to the nurse, and she couldn't figure it out, but she said, well,
Don't eat apples.
don't eat, don't eat your supper at night. Just tell them you want an orange, or you're just gonna have to go without. And so I did, and yeah, that took care of that. My favorite foods, we have so many nice,
Eels.
nice food. We had all kinds of fruit growing up, and always fresh, and I climbed the peach trees, I climbed the apple trees, the plum trees, and we even ate them when they were not ripe. I mean, the peaches would be just like this, and I would just climb the trees, and we'd just fill our pockets and just eat it on the way to school, eat it on the way home. My mother bakes a wonderful Christmas fruit cake, and that's my favorite that she from my mother. And my dad, he loves to cook too, and I like what he made is called kinikini, and kinikini means pinch or pinch, and what he would do is he'd heat the milk, and of course we always had fresh milk, and he would make a dough, and then he'd pinch it, and when the milk was hot and close to boiling, he would just pinch off a little bit of the dough and cook it, and that was our breakfast. It was wonderful. The wonderful.
Those
things.
fish heads. Those are the eyes on the fish.
Oh yes, well, yeah, we most of our fish was boiled with onions and and spices, and we had to pick everything out, the flesh of the meat out from the bones, and so it wasn't such a big deal to have bones in your fish. And once Nick, my brother, had a bone. Oh, I guess he might have swallowed it, but it came up and it was in his nose. And I tell you, my dad just grabbed him and just sucked, his nose.
To get it
Sucked on-
out?
Yeah, sucked on his nose and got it out. My dad's a good medicine man.
He knows how to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Got everything else out too, huh?
Well, yes.
Any allergies for you? I guess you said the apples.
Yeah.
The stored
No,
apples.
other
but
than that,
otherwise,
I never ever really had any
experiences
allergies.
in our married life.
Yeah. Of course, I didn't know how to cook, but I could make bread. I knew how to make bread. And I could boil water. And anything that can be boiled, like potatoes, I knew how to boil potatoes. But I couldn't,
Dinner, boil up.
yeah, I could boil things.
Mm.
But I couldn't really toast or make an omelet or
What a shock in the first couple of weeks of marriage, huh? My wife can't cook. What am I gonna do?
I know. Well, you could have been like Nick and cooked,
Yeah.
because Nick cooked for his wife.
Yeah. You starved to death, you gotta cook, right? I can cook.
How did
Okay.
you guys meet? Yeah.
I remember meeting him for the very first time when he came to my apartment, and my companion was Tuna, and we called her Tuna. I don't know why.
Sister
we called-
Reeser.
Yes, Sister Reeser. She was tall, from Seattle, Washington. She had red hair. She was the only member
Kind of a
in
red-
her
reddish
family,
blonde.
and she had just come from BYU. And anyway, yeah, Elder Madsen came in, and
He's district leader.
he was our district leader, and he looked like he was going to be your companion. And the only thing that he told us about you before you came was that
He's wayward.
you were slow.
Yeah, that's what I said.
He said you were slow. Anyway, that was it. And
That's the scuttlebutt.
yeah, my first impression was, gee, he seems so much older.
So mature.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't do a lot of talking. He didn't talk a lot, and he was just totally quiet and kind of reserved.
Because I didn't know anybody.
No, I just thought, oh, well, he's just, an older missionary, probably 26.
That's funny.
19, really. No.
Anyway,
This
and we just worked in the same district.
Which was?
For at least 6 months, I think. I'm not sure. I I think I got there in March, wouldn't you think? And I left in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which district or area was this?
It was called. What was it called?
I thought it was
Torrance.
Troy.
Torrance.
Torrance, yeah.
There you go.
Torrance was,
Something.
You got it.
yeah.
Good job, you guys.
And the ward was, it was the Torrance ward too.
Mhm.
I mean, branch? Was it a branch?
I have no idea, really. Probably a branch, hon.
Yeah,
There were no stakes.
one of the bigger branches. Anyway, and one of the things that we did, we got to change district leaders. Elder Madsen went somewhere else, and
About a month.
our new district leader, he was really, really staunch. I mean, we were down here and he was up this bar. We'd have an area concentration.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd concentrate in one area, and sometimes they would come over into our area and work, or we would go into their areas, and that was all the missionaries in our district.
I think there were about 8.
And there was Elder Van Wagner, Elder Smith. Elder Smith was just a greenie,
Van Wagner's.
and Van Wagner was, he just had dentures that were so big.
Mm-hmm.
He had this dashing smile. He was good looking.
I had a companion to start off with that didn't stay very long. Maybe a week or 2, maybe a month.
Monk.
No. Monk was my greenie,
Oh,
and so it was after that, and I can't remember his name. We got along fairly well, and then I got another greenie.
yeah, and he was the bishop's son.
Well, I don't know, but
You trained a lot. That's cool, Grandpa.
no, I didn't train a lot. Just 2.
Greenies. That's good.
And actually, the next one, I can't think of his name at the moment, but we really liked each other a lot. And we'd have wrestling contests. It was not anger, We were just having some fun in our apartment.
Not
And-
Fred Otho.
No, that was after.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What were the candies you were talking about, though?
Can't
Yeah.
think of the name.
Oh, I don't know, but they were.
I can't think of
They
it
were
at all.
kind of a married. They had a married picture, and he would share it with me, and he'd give me one, and I thought that was cute.
Don't remember that.
Just
at all.
planting seeds, right,
No,
Teapot?
No,
Because
that
you
was
didn't like them,
that was
Dad?
absolutely spontaneous. Probably, I had no twinklings in my eye for that. No.
Anyway, I got a big kick out of that.
We had several D-days together, diversion days, and several meetings,
After
S&Ds and whatever, together.
when you're in the same district,
Yeah. And so that's how we got to be acquainted with each other a lot. It's the diversion days. We went to the beach, but we didn't swim. We just went to the beach. And we went downtown to the theater. That's one of the best memories I ever remember of her. We watched
Camelot.
together.
We went to Camelot together, and we sat together.
It's the entire district in that on that row, okay?
Yeah,
It just so
our
happened
whole
that we
district.
got side-by-side seats.
Grandpa making sure there's no funny
There's
business.
no funny business going on. Okay, it was just, we really enjoyed the movie and enjoyed.
Yeah, it
time
was
together.
lovely. And,
And
then
then we saw something else too, didn't we?
we went to see Peter, Paul, and Mary.
She got to sit about 4 rows from the front.
Cool.
Yeah, and you were
I was way up on the
at
balcony.
top.
But we were together.
Yeah. He and his companion it was really nice, a good show.
Mhm. I do remember
Like
that because
this-
I think I was falling in love with her then. She got transferred out.
Yeah,
Okay.
She went to Marion,
yes.
okay? And that said something to me. So, and then my birthday came along, and a member had given me a birthday party, so we all went to her house, a member, And she wasn't a single. I mean, there was a household,
Yeah.
but she invited a lot of kids there from the ward, and a few missionaries. I know that the elders on the beach came,
Yeah, there were missionaries there.
but I asked permission for her to be able to come, or she asked, whatever.
Yeah, we asked, and we were allowed to, but we also had a discussion. So we went to do our work first, and after was about
That's why I
8
was so
o'clock.
nervous. Where is she? Where is she? Yeah,
He didn't care by then.
I didn't care about
'cause he
anybody
was
there at the
going
party.
home. He didn't care who knew.
What birthday party? I mean, I'm only waiting for one gift.
Yeah.
for her to
Anyway,
show up.
So then you arrive.
Yeah, and she arrives.
no.
You
Yeah,
did.
I got there.
I did.
Yeah, but you had already gone to find us.
No,
Yes, you.
I may have gone out for just a minute, but I got back.
Oh yeah. Anyway, he wasn't there when we got there, and they said, "Oh, where have you been, Elder White and Elder and
Christensen.
somebody?" Yeah,
Christensen.
Elder Christensen has just left to see if you needed a ride or whatever, and we had a car, so we didn't really need a ride, but.
Yeah, I had to borrow the car from the beach elders.
And then after that, they had a show. I think they were just showing slides
I don't remember that.
for the members that were there. We just kind of had a discussion, just to leave on a spiritual note. How missionaries, you share a scripture or it was a video, and I remember sitting over here and he was over there, and I just wanted so bad. So bad to reach over and touch him. Oh!
She was having it too, wasn't she? Nothing said between us, but she was having it too.
Oh.
Yeah, and and I mean, that was so hard. And I didn't.
Anyway,
I
I'm not
just
sure who
didn't.
left first from the party, but I told her I'm going to try to come over and say goodbye. And my companion was fine with that, no problem. So from Torrance to Marion is not a long. It's not a small distance, but it's still in town, in Adelaide. I remember Marion to be pretty much in the middle of town,
Yeah.
and Torrance is on the beach.
Yes.
So I got over there, and my companion stayed in the car,
Good
but
companion.
he kept his eye on me.
Yeah.
And she came out, and I asked her if I could give her a kiss goodbye. And she said, "Absolutely not."
I said no, and I went to the door, and I came back in, and I said, Elder White, I said, Elder White is outside, and my companion said, "You have 5 minutes," and she said, "If you're not back in here, I'm out there."
That's all we took, too.
Anyway,
I just said I'm leaving tomorrow, and I'll write you as often as I can. Basically, all I said.
yeah,
Mm.
And I wrote her
just
from
said-
every stop.
we just said goodbye, and yeah, he was gone. And my companion said, "Not even a peck on the cheek."
See what it?
I said, "No."
Yeah, he tried.
You said, "Go home and practice on your mom."
I probably did.
Yeah, that's just to be funny.
Mm.
Anyway, and after that we just wrote letters until.
My first stop was Melbourne, where the other mission president was, because I wanted to say goodbye to him. And I
Yeah.
told him. I told him I was interested in Sister
President
Mary.
Russon.
And he
They
said,
were good.
"Fine, great, yeah." And I stopped in Sydney, and I wrote a letter to her there. And I stopped in Fiji, and I wrote a letter to her there. And I stopped in Hawaii, and I wrote a letter to her there. And I stopped in San Francisco, and I wrote a letter to her there.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
at
a
every
lot of
stop.
Stops.
Oh.
Every
Yeah.
stop.
But I had to. I mean, how could I get a letter off?
He wrote a card. It was hard, you know, waiting for a letter. And I wrote almost every day too.
Yeah, I got quite a few letters.
Yeah.
Can't find them anymore. Anyway, that's our courtship, okay?